That song is called Night Driving by
Ooh,
StreamYard.
man, I am feeling some night driving.
I know. Actually, it reminds me because every time I see that one, I'm like, I'm hoping I click on it and it's just the album, the soundtrack from the movie Drive, which is still hands down one of my favorite albums of all time.
Which is great. No, it's strong. Not as good as Drive Angry for me, but no, I feel you.
Wait. So movie wise, you're saying Drive Angry is better?
No, soundtrack wise.
Get out of here. Who was on the Drive Angry?
That is a 100% just wiggling that minnow in front of you, see if you bite.
I'm so confused by it, but I believe you. I believe you hardcore.
I mean, Baby Driver, I think, is probably the best driving soundtrack out of all of the Drive in the title.
I suppose. Yeah, I mean, it is a great sound. Baby Driver is a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
Edgar Wright on almost most of his soundtracks to his movies has proven he's up there with James Gunn, who, in my opinion, is probably the best filmmaker to put together soundtracks.
I'll agree with that. Absolutely. I still throw Zach Braff out there because I have fallen in love with countless artists because of his. So his input on Scrubs, which, also Bill Lawrence was obviously a huge influence on that too.
Mm-hmm.
But the Last Kiss soundtrack is amazing. Garden State was huge. One of my favorites too. That's a go-to.
Yeah, I have this acoustic mellow soundtrack I kind of listen to sometimes when I'm just kind of chilling. Mm-hmm. And the Shins came on the other day. So it's on Amazon Music, so they add music to it every once in a while or put it together.
Nice.
And the Shins was like new to it. And it was nice. And that is a good, like, Garden State, to me, the movie doesn't hold up as much anymore.
Well, it's difficult, especially in the era of cell phones and smartphones and where we are and how advanced we've become, because that was, 2002? Like, we were right on the cusp. So it's still it was just reaching in there.
But I think we were also that age. We were that age where we're like, we don't know what we want to do with our lives, you know? And just figuring it out. And I know for me, there's that Jersey connection where he's showing a side of Jersey that I'm like,
the giant hole in the ground with scrap around it. Is that the one?
Mouth. I knew you were going to take it to that place. That's not the real Jersey. It's not the Jersey. I know. Although there are a lot of quarries in certain areas. There are a lot of holes to nowhere, I guess.
That felt right. No, that was one of the cool bits, though, is one of those movies that it falls back into more of memory. It's a nostalgia movie. It's a movie that only exists for me from where I was at that point in my life. It transports me back. So it has emotional attachment from, the people I was around, the friends I had in those times. It brings me back and allows me to remember a lot of those because that movie meant so much at that time. Yeah. Kind of like Shallow Grave. There's another one, oddly enough, that, takes me back to high school. The first time I really sat in a drama class and really broke down a movie and went, oh, wow, okay. I see the depth in this filmmaking thing that I've always felt, but now someone verbalized it. So.
Yeah. That's a deep cut in a lot of ways.
Right? Yeah. We started talking about Drive soundtracks.
I know, but I think that still kind of works because, like, that's for me why Drive works so well. It was such a neon, but like smooth soundtrack that, like, you could, like, and that movie came out when I was living in Los Angeles, and I just drove around Los Angeles listening to that soundtrack, and it works. Fair. You're like, oh shit. Have you ever seen a soundtrack that just fits the place you're in so well?
Absolutely.
The Garden State soundtrack you could be in like suburban Ohio and it still works.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you could be like in Connecticut and it still works.
Yeah,
rural, suburban, as urban as we get Connecticut.
That's very fair. I see that stuff and I'm like, it's, to me, like, there's not many soundtracks where you're like, this fits the spot it's in and nowhere else. Mm-hmm. And really the only time that works, just speaking purely from an American standpoint, is what do you call it? Is
Rocky?
Man, I mean, I feel like you could make Rocky anywhere.
Rocky 4, definitely.
Oh, that's really only one place Rocky 4 can be made.
That's fair. That's fair. There's only, well, technically 2 places, but
and we're
only
not
those 2
counting
places.
We're not counting. And they didn't even make it in. Oh my God, they didn't even make it in
Russia?
Philadelphia, did they? Because I think Apollo was from Los Angeles.
I think so. I think you're right.
So I would assume that, like, I mean, of course, I believe that Rocky was living in like a mansion outside of Philadelphia.
I do not. I think he's in a mansion in LA because he's big time. He's a big shot. And back in those days, when you became a big shot, you had to move to LA. I don't believe he was in Philly at all. And then he didn't even train.
You think he was just? You just think they lied about Philly the whole time?
Absolutely. There's no shot he was in Philly. Maybe for a day to like visit the stairs. That's it.
Fair enough. Rockies. I swear to God, if we keep up with this conversation, there's going to be somebody from Philadelphia who watches or listens to this, and we're just going to get beat up.
Oh yeah, no, they're just going to drive down here and whoop us.
Because drive up there because we're obviously in Albany.
Oh yeah, no, we're in Jersey. They should go looking in Jersey.
Yeah, actually, that's like throwing one of the wizards up against the arts of the dark defense or whatever they do in Harry Potter. It's like, yeah, go ahead, find me now. Find me in my sea of Jerseyites.
This needle in a haystack, bro.
Yeah. Where are you at?
Where yuns be?
I'm over here, bro. Come find me.
Come at me, bro.
Dude, I'm telling you, it would be. Oh my God! Could you imagine? Okay, I like where this is going, but I want to stick with Rocky 4 for a second. Just Rocky 4. Okay. Where do you see? Where else could be Rocky 4 take place? Like if you had to change up Ivan Drago, you can change up his nationality.
Okay, yeah. So we're changing the nationality. So it's people who are currently fighting that would possibly need to like back off because they need to kind of see each other for being humans and people and stop seeing the nations and the problems that they have as a nation and the leaders who really just are vying for power. Yeah, so the United States and Russia feels kind of fitting. Time is interesting. Or I don't know, Britain and the UK and the Ukraine. There we go.
Okay. All right. Well, you can keep the U.S. I mean, listen, in the 80s, there was plenty of other places that didn't like us.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, the U.S. and China right now would be great. Maybe Australia and China. I want an Australian Rocky.
Well, China worked. If you want Rocky and, well, was it China or was it Korea? I can't remember. I think it was China, Best of the Best.
I don't remember.
It was either Korea or it was China. It was one of those two, I believe.
I mean, probably China. I feel like a lot of stuff, it was usually China.
All right. And I can't believe I'm typing this in, but you have to, if you're talking about any 80s movies, who are the bad guys?
Well, and Russia, they weren't even bad guys. Well, all the POWs in Vietnam still. That played hard in the 80s.
Yeah, this was like later 80s.
True.
I like how I said, I typed in who are the bad guys in Best of the Best, and it's just like Hannibal Lecter. What?
Yeah, they're just ready for you to be like a really bad speller.
Now I type in who are the teams in Best of the Best, and I'm getting the NFL power rankings. I don't know what's happening right now.
Learn how to Google. Put Best of the Best in quotes.
You know what I do miss? I miss all of the martial arts movies. Oh, it was Korea. It was Korea and Taekwondo tournament. That's what it was. Okay, so
okay. Yeah, North Korea would be a good one.
Yeah,
we could always fight North Koreans.
Well, no,
but I mean, see, that's not even fair because we just need to fight the leadership. Really, like don't even make it about the people. Yeah, that's not what it's about. It's about the leadership.
Those poor people, like, would be wondering why we're attacking them when they're not even being fed.
Right.
You know, like I don't want to be that guy. I mean,
yeah.
And weird enough,
it's just a dick move.
There's a large portion of America that is that guy. So it's hard to differentiate sometimes. But yeah, I don't think. Can we have a superpower that's a bad guy? Are we the bad guy now? Wait,
Yeah, in a lot of ways, absolutely.
am I discovering something here about ourselves? Did we become the bad guys?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I mean, ask most South American nations, and their version of Rocky is them versus us. We're the Dragos, you know?
Damn, dude. Live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Bro, ain't it the truth? Well, that's only because the history books were written by the winners for so long until enough people kind of became even ground and more worried about humankind and realized, oh, some of these things were pretty gnarly that we did. I mean, this is 100 years in our past. Of course, those skeletons are coming out of our closet.
Well, look at our Governor Youngling. He's got a tip line now. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, man, I hate to be the one to break it to you. But so Yunkin Duncan, Yunkin Donuts decided to make a tip line, and anybody can rat out any school that's teaching anything about racism, basically. I mean, critical race theory is where he's at, but like he worded it in such a way where it's basically if you're teaching if you're teaching white people were oppressors at any point ever, rat these people out so that way we can.
I don't understand that. It's just history. That's the way it was. We just look at it through the reality of what it was. We own slaves. We use them in terrible ways. We're awful to another set of humankind, and just to fucking build our infrastructure to do everything that we didn't want to do.
Yeah.
And then turn around and rally a whole bunch of poor people to come fight for you because you could.
Still do.
It didn't change. That's the same shit it's always been.
Did you know
understanding that? I mean, that's not. I don't understand the whole critical race theory thing. I just don't get it because, I mean, we're just teaching history. It's like, I mean, you didn't have to be racist to be a slaver. That shit was clear in fucking Rome. That's slavery's been a thing instituted by humankind for a long ass time. It's awful. It's a terrible thing. It's part of history. It's how a lot of shit got done, and it's unfortunate. And it's just, we have to move on from it and accept that that's what happened and that's what not to do. That's all. If you don't focus on the lessons of the past, you're bound to repeat them. And that's the simple fact of it. We're just going to stay in this cycle if we just don't go, hey, this was bad. We don't need to do this. We need to move past this. We need to find the path forward. Just to be aware that happened and we got better. Like that's the whole thing is, moving forward. It's all a matter of change. It's a constant churn.
Yeah, but I think, the not fun, but the good part about this is that yes, he's doing this, but I keep falling back to all the people who are like, yeah, okay, dickhead, like, no, like, you're a monster. What are you doing? So like there is now, granted, like I said, there's plenty of people in this country who are ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But that's can be said about anywhere. You could say that about this world. Every country has people like that. But I think it's like that. I keep going back to that quote at the end of True Detective. I feel like we're winning, like because the light's shining through more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like that. I feel like that just means we're winning. Like I feel like that means more and more people are waking up to reality and saying, all right, now winning elections is a different thing from winning elections comes from stupidity in the government. When the Democrat side is putting up people like tired old people who are not going to change anything up against guys who are like, hey, I'm going to keep everything the same. It's hard to get voters for that. It's tired. It's old. And we're not fixing anything. But that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, it's a whole different world. That's a whole can of worms that I completely agree with. I think it's unfortunately become the major religion now is R&D. And it's unfortunate that somehow those have been the way we've taken over now is the way to hold your stance. I think it is what it is, man. A hold eye for life.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, going like you go forward, you go and you hold on to hope with a lot of things, and then you just continue on and you watch great TV shows like The Expanse.
Yep, that's exactly what we do.
Which just reminds me exactly what I'm going through in life because The
Well,
government.
it's wonderful though. I would rather deal with it in the expanse because at least there I can pretend that I live in 0G or I rock hop or I do something outrageous. I get to be a member of the Rocinante, you know?
You know what? Actually, I'm glad you said that because I have a question for you. All right. What is something from like a science fiction point, which not really science fiction, but like something in a movie that, yeah, it may seem like it's cool, but you don't want to live in it constantly. For me, it would be living in 0G. I'm like, I can't do it, man. My gut can't just stay up all the time. What is this?
The idea of living in a 0G environment would be awesome, and especially doing it in like the Rocinante or even the Donninger, one of those cool ships, you know, one of the giant flagships in the UNN. I would be stoked to live on something like that. That's where I want to be. As far as a place I wouldn't want to be, honestly, it's alien planets, bro. Like, as much as I always see them, they always look cool, but I would be that guy who would happen to walk by that flower and touch it when I'm not supposed to, and it would like melt my flesh.
Yeah, fair.
So alien planets are pretty scary. Or you see the cute little thing that looks like a puppy dog, so you think in your mind, oh, it's cute. I associate this with fluffy kindness. And then it turns and just gouges a chunk out of your neck, and you sit there bleeding to death, going, why did I do that? Like, come here, kitty. Like, oh, no, I would be terrible on an alien planet. So that's any alien planet. Like living in, if I knew I couldn't take my helmet off or I knew I had certain restrictions and limitations, and as long as I lived within them, we're fine. I'm good with that. Put me on an asteroid, tell me how to do it. This is great. No problem. Decompression chamber, yada blah. I got you.
Yeah.
You put me on an alien planet and say, we don't really know what's here. Good luck. Oh, I give myself like 3 days tops.
So, all right. Is there any aliens in movies or TV shows that you could see, like, not saying you have to live on an alien planet, but you could see us being able to live with? Strike Star Trek out of it.
I was about to say, yeah, because that's wide open. I was gonna say
like they design everyone, like you can still even live next to Klingons. Like they design it for that specific purpose.
Yep. No, for that, I mean, xenomorphs would be problematic.
I never in a million. Like, first of all, I don't want anything where I have to run. I mean, I could live among the predators. I would just never pick up a weapon. They're an honorable group.
That's true. What are you going to do? Just like collect? What, are you going to become a farmer? Because technically, a hoe or a rake could be considered a weapon.
I will do nothing. I'll just do nothing. I'll just wander. And every time they come, I'll just keep my hands up. Like, no, I'm good. I'm good, bro. Peace.
Just get down on your knees, hands up. Be like, nope.
Nope. It's not gonna mess around with your police state.
No, I would absolutely try to fight back in the predator world. And once again, 3 days tops. I've got no chance I'm gonna make it, but I'm going out swinging. And by swinging, I mean missing completely and just getting eviscerated. I
am not trying to put you down in any way. If you say if human hunters were chasing you, I could see Casey living, like, I mean, even living, like getting out of it eventually, you know, if you really had a plan and you were able to do it. Mm-hmm. But like, you were certainly going to die. Like if you came to me like, okay, we have to plan as if I'm going to die. I'd be like, yeah, 3 days works. On a predator planet, like 10 minutes.
See, that's where I'm at because first of all, they're invisible. Yeah. Secondly, even if they show up and I have my weapon in hand and I go rushing at them, no, he's going to sidestep me and just whoop, done. All right.
I don't even know that I'd make boots to the ground. I don't think I'd even make it boots to the ground. I think they'd open the ship hatch and like just boom, dead. I'd be that guy in Saving Private Ryan who gets like dinked right in the head.
Yeah, when the doors open. Because you're standing right in the doorway and you're the biggest target.
Which, talk about waking nightmares. And that's something actual human beings, my grandfather included, lived through. Could you? I can't even, like, Jesus.
No, that would not be a fun idea. It's not where I want to be.
Yeah, but I think about that. And like when people are like, listen, I do believe that boomers are the actual know-nothing generation. And the greatest generation, my ass, I'll just stick to that. I don't know that I'm going to call them the greatest generation, but I will tell you. And the reason I'm saying, because yes, all of the fluff, pomp, circumstance, the horse and pony show of like We Are America, Star Spangled stuff, there's still a lot of shit that people went through. And
they were made of different stuff. I always like to put it that way. I think they were made of different stuff. There was different requirements for survival and different things that were going on, and evolution happens. I mean, just that's what it is. We evolve as we learn more and we gain more knowledge and we try to become better. That's the whole idea, is just to be better than you were yesterday. That's what we try to aim for.
But I think that's where it comes from. Like, to me, I say the greatest generation, my ass, because like now I'll 100 men and women and children back then, not the greatest generation, sure as shit the toughest generation. Because again, if you were just men running at a beach off of a boat while hellfire is being rained down and you still win, you're the toughest generation, hands down.
I mean, is that the toughest generation, or was it tough before plumbing? Was that tougher?
No,
like think about like the 1400s. They had it pretty tough.
We like shitting. We're on toilets because that's how we were raised. But like, if back in the day I had to shit on a tree and that's all I knew, you're fine.
You dig a hole, you got your shitting hole, light it on fire at the end of the day.
Light it on fire, really?
Oh yeah, you got to burn it, man. Otherwise, you let all that fucking nastiness out in the world.
I just leave it. Just like,
man, you just get them big fire pits. Just burn it, stir it.
This is for you. I'm going to the next town.
or be really gross and be like in the cities where you just literally do it in a pot and then throw it in the streets, and there's like just gutters on the sides of the streets where it would just be flowing while you were, wandering with your cart to get to your grocery shopping.
That's not there's a reason Rome fell. And that's not,
my friend, they were the infrastructure hub of the world at that time. So that is not why they fit.
I do not want to hear that shit. They use lead for everything. Nobody could figure out, maybe some copper or brass or something. It's just automatically like, let's use this.
Brass was weapons, bro. Weapons first, society second.
Exactly. That's stupidity at its finest. That's why you fall. That is the
what are you talking? That is exactly how we've risen, though, my friend. How in the world do you think the United States become the superpower that we did?
Yeah, but look at us now. Boom. All I have to say is look at us now, and my point's proven.
Well, there's a difference between soft power and hard power.
Yeah.
And we lost our soft power.
Lost our hard power too.
Well, no, we have the hard power. The problem is nobody wants to fucking show the hard power, because the hard power inevitably leads to too much use of the harder power. And then, there's just big old mushroom clouds all over the face of this earth. And the people in the ISS are the last ones that are going to survive.
Jesus Christ. Can you imagine? Then everyone from Earth lives in 0G.
I mean, we get there a lot quicker than I anticipated. I'll tell you that.
Right back to our original point. But this is Geek Fest, and I feel like we're getting heavy.
You think?
We're getting pretty heavy. Stop talking about those know-nothing generations.
Okay, well, that's terrible. Or we could shift into the better-knowing generations, like The Expanse.
No, like the kids that are younger than us. I am putting all of my hope and stock in like the younger kids. Yeah, they'll fix this. They'll fix this because they will just get tired of our shit. It's already happening. Because when we were teenagers, we got tired of our parents' shit, but we were just whiny assholes. These kids are like, whatever, I'll just do what I gotta do.
Well, and that's the other thing, is I think it's better because we're the generation that'll get the fuck out of their way. I think that's what we geared ourselves for, is we have taught ourselves that there are people who know more, who know better and understand things better because they took the time to learn more. And they should be the ones who are in charge.
Yeah, well, I read a meme today, actually. It was funny. And there was a guy in a suit looking in a mirror, and he had a clown face. And it said, every day waking up for work, going to make a decent salary while some 8-year-old is making $26 million on TikTok, which is an exaggeration. But you know what? Fuck you.
Influencer became a job. It became a fucking career. Like,
fuck you for being upset about it. Because you know what? That 8-year-old is doing his shit. He took to it and he was like, I'm going to do this. And I bet you that clown took no time to even understand what the hell TikTok is.
It's easier to mock a thing than it is to try to learn it.
Yeah, but it also goes back to like what was it, Jim Carrey said at that one time where he's like, just because somebody's suffering, or it was about pharmacy or like the pharmaceutical prices or something, like and he was almost like, don't lose focus on the fact that the pharmacy is the bad guy or the pharmaceutical companies are the bad guy, not the person suffering. Mm-hmm. Stop because somebody, or I forget, I don't know.
No, you've got it right. It's a matter of not victim shaming.
Yeah.
It's really comes down to just understanding people, trying to understand people and look to see who the actual villain is in all this. Who's making the most? Who stands the most to gain from other people suffering? That's the fucking villain. Welcome. That's 101. Comic books, movies, any story is the bad guy gains from mass suffering. Pure and simple.
Yep. And now let's look at who the bad guys are.
Lex Luthor.
Hey, all right. We got a bot. Hi, bot.
Yeah, bot.
Bot, we have a question for you. When are you planning on taking over the planet?
It's like a magic 8-ball. Yeah. We're here in suspense.
You just got to go to that website and find out. I'll get right on that.
I wouldn't recommend it.
No. So let me ask you this. Would you live in the Matrix if you had the choice?
I've always been on the fence with this one because I feel like as much easier as it would be and as much as comfort, I have a problem with comfort in that I love it. So if I was able to be comfortable there, it'd be really hard to say no to that. But if I found out that things like my family or my child were a lie, then yeah, no, I'd bail. I'd be out. Because that's too much of a lie. Now, if I was single and I was in the Matrix and they're like, no, you can come out and learn the truth and fight against the bad guys, I'd be like, I don't know. I kind of want to go to a club. Now that I know that it's fake, I just want to do all the dumb shit if my brain is going to be experiencing it. Cool.
But is the lie worth it or not? Because you still have those experiences, those feelings, and those, with your child and with your loved ones. So, but if you come out of it because you find out it's a lie, then you lose all of that.
Yeah, but you should want to remove the veil from yourself and theoretically see the truth and try to be part of the solution rather than sit and continue being a battery just for them. Even if I didn't, you know what? Now, damn it. All right. So now that I think about it, no matter what, I have to get out. I'd have to be out of the Matrix because I wouldn't allow myself to be part of whatever it is, even if it's, cutting off my nose to spite my own face. I'm that guy. So I'd be like, nope. If I was going to live 3 days, once again, we're back to the 3 days thing. It's an alien planet to me. I have no idea what it is. I'm bound to touch something and die. So it'd be like the socket that you're not supposed to grab, or like I tried to lick it and be like putting 2 battery poles together and just fry myself.
See, I don't know that I would want out. I don't know that I'd care. Because you ultimately going to stop whatever's happening? Because even the one couldn't stop it.
I can't accept knowing that I allowed myself to be part of it still.
But are you really a cog in the wheel?
100%. You're a battery. You're a battery powering a death machine that was just purpose-built to murder you and to domineer over you. Yeah,
no, go back to the Animatrix. That's not that they were built. They were doing that to save humanity because we were the monsters.
Yeah, I mean, I get that we are the monsters because at the end of the day, of course we are, but we should have the right to go out and be monsters.
And even like Neo at the end was like, nah, shit, put me back in. And now then they made the fourth one and that happened. But
yep, they certainly made a fourth one. It's very Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, if you get my vibe.
oh my God, that's a great correlation. It
Yeah.
really is a Kingdom of Crystal Skull. No,
I
no.
felt it
I can
100%,
watch.
man. As soon as I was watching it, I was like, okay, really? Like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, like, it has too many holes too early. And it's just, it's not, there are things that the points, the pacing, it's just, I don't like it. I
It's
don't
so
like it. It
bad.
didn't work out.
It's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie. It's a bad movie. And then the twist was nightmare hell. Like it just wasn't executed well at all. And then that's exactly what happened for me in the new Matrix movie. It happened. It exists.
See, and I agree with your assessment. It exists. But the thing is, like, I could probably watch the Crystal Skull again. Now, when I say probably is, I have no plans to do it. I have no plans to even put it on TV if it's on.
Nope.
But if I walked in a room and it was on, and it wasn't one of my kids who put it on so I can knock the remote out of their hands and change it, I would sit down and be like, whatever. He's still Indiana Jones. She's still Marion Ravencroft.
Yeah.
I can at least put that together. I do not give a shit about Neo and Trinity.
Yeah. No, I didn't either. It was very bland. I don't think I would still be okay. Even if I walked in on like my daughter watching it and being like, Daddy, it's Indiana Jones, I'd immediately sit down and be like, no, honey. And then we'd have to go watch Temple of Doom. Because there's no chance you're going to start with Crystal Skull. Absolutely not. Like, I'll probably just kick it right off with Raiders. Because Marion Ravenwood is one of the best characters in all of Indiana Jones. I love her.
You know, Raiders is such a great movie, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the argument that stupid Big Bang Theory put together, where and I don't, when I say I love that, I'm being completely facetious. Where they put together what do you call it, saying that if he didn't do anything, it still would have had the same result and it just would have happened quicker. That's fine. And maybe you're right. But at the same time, that still shows you a good man jumping into action.
That's the whole point of it, is it's not a matter of, oh, this person like didn't have to do anything, the same result would have happened. Of course it would have, but he tried and he was going along the whole way, and it's an adventure. And I think you lose sight of the fact that failure is an option. It is possible to do everything right and to still fail. You know, that's all right,
Picard. All right.
If you give me an opening, I'm using that line.
It's a great line and you nailed it, but.
And it's also the best part about Indiana Jones. He gets his ass beat. He gets beat up. Do you remember the giant Nazi mechanic that only like Indy has to outsmart him? He has to outwit him. And as much as he continues to outsmart and outwit, the other people still. And I beg to differ, because he didn't lose. Because in the end, the Nazis melted and he and Marion got out with the Ark.
Yeah. Yeah, they just kept their eyes closed. He literally did nothing.
Yep. So it wouldn't have been the same result, because he wouldn't have been there. That's how he got to the position to get the win in a weird way.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'll give you that. He did position himself to get the win, because actually there is an argument to be made that it probably, if he didn't get involved, it would have gotten to Hitler quicker.
Exactly. Maybe that's it goes right to him.
So, God damn you, Indy. Could have had Hitler's face melt off.
Well, if we had known, they obviously were going to open it first before giving it to him. They're not going to show up and be like, oh, hey, here's this thing that we didn't test that we're just going to open in front of you. No, that's not happening.
You never know. Somebody might be like, Hitler might be like, I'm going to open that.
No, and as power hungry as everyone around him was, like Belloc was all about opening that thing. There's no chance he was giving that over to Hitler. He even says it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why he had Gestapo dude there.
Who's the worst?
Gestapo's job was to report back what was going on.
Who, in your opinion, is the worst movie Nazi?
Like, what do you mean worse? Like, was
like
not
they're
a
all
good
bad.
Nazi? Like, they were too good? Like, were they too nice?
No. No, like,
failed at being a Nazi?
The most vile
Till
of the
Schweiger.
vile. What is it?
Till Schweiger.
I have
failed
one of my
at being a Nazi. What?
One of my mustache hairs curling up and touching like the thing on my nose, and it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, you know who doesn't have that problem?
Yeah, shut up. Can't
it just won't grow. It's not like it's purpose.
No, it looks good. You know, I don't know. Christoph Waltz was a pretty bad Nazi, but no, not
Christoph
him.
Waltz played, I think, who portrayed a Nazi character?
The most accurate?
Yeah, most accurate. Most accurate.
No, most accurate portrayal of like the
menacing.
vileness of a
most
Nazi.
Menacing. I like that. I would say Christoph Waltz. He had that perfect deadpan delivery with an absolute sinister thing hiding underneath. He had such a kindness, but a sinister nature. Oh, he did that really well. I was really uncomfortable around him. So that works out really well.
Well, I'll tell you right now, and I know you agree with this, there has not been a Nazi on screen that I have not been like comfortable watching. There are like everybody's good. And I'm like applauding the acting.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. Yeah, there's quite a few. The one dude who plays in Indiana Jones in Last Crusade, I love that general. He does a great job. The one who goes down on the tank, he's fantastic.
Got those eyes, man. It's scary. I still have that. I have the my wife got me the Holy Grail.
Oh, nice. Yeah. You know who else was a good one? Frickin' Elrond as the Red Skull.
Was he?
I think he was fantastic. He was terrifying. You're telling me you'd be okay in a room with that dude?
They were bad Nazis. They were not good at being Nazis because they didn't really care about.
Okay, look, they were like the concentrated version down of what the Nazis are. Like they were bad. They were super bad. They were the worst.
Oh, they were bad people.
Yeah.
Like Hydra was terrible.
Hydra was awful.
But
might still be.
Like, yeah, I know, right? All right. So how do I put this? Hydra was really bad. But Hydra, even when they went into hiding in S.H.I.E.L.D., just kind of did their thing. They did their job. Like they were still trying to stop bad things from happening around the world.
They were guiding them to be less bad, so they left vacuums that allowed them to fill those vacuums. So them gaining something off of the death of someone else. It's not great.
Yeah, but all right, but hear me out. There's plenty of governments that do that now.
Oh, well, of course. And they call it defense. I understand it.
That were not Nazis. You know what I mean? So stuff like that still happens. Like Hydra was at least like, you know, fuck you guys. Like I don't want to be a part of this. I want to go do my thing. And like I don't know exactly what his thing was. Bomb cities. Like it was very weird. The whole movie, like his motivations were just kind of like, what do you want?
Well, he wanted to wipe out all the main power structures so that way only Hydra would be able to rise into that power vacuum. And you do that by creating levels of terror.
It took him to die for that to actually happen. Like in a better way. In a very weird way. That took him to, he had to go away for them to actually be like, you know what? Maybe we should be like infiltrating.
Well, that's the problem with figureheads, man. When you make a martyr or a figurehead, when you do that and say, hey, it's all done, we got that guy. It's like, you don't understand the structure of what's behind it. You know, you've got to be mindful of everything. It's dangerous to have that simplicity. We'll kill this main guy, so it's over. It's like not really how things work now.
Not at all. I don't know. I just they were kind of shitty Nazis. They weren't good Nazis. And now, listen, when I say good Nazis, I'm not saying that as like they're good.
It's such
people.
a minefield. It's
I know,
such a
it really
minefield.
is.
Be mindful
really
of your words, bro. Like
it's so weird because in a movie, like a good Nazi is the most vile human being on the planet, and they're still not as vile as actual Nazis.
Yeah, but you still need that in order to inform on the character, but you don't really need it because once you see the symbol, you go, well, that's it. They're a piece of shit.
Well,
Easy peasy. I want to kill that guy. Like
movies
no question.
movies with bad guys don't work unless you make them sympathetic. And I still like, don't make me sympathetic for Nazis because I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Dude, we're gonna get somebody like some skinhead asshole watching this and just be like, "Hey, you're talking about the fucking power or whatever the fuck they're called now."
Yeah, like, I hope it doesn't.
I don't care if it does.
I don't really fucking care.
Hold on. I'll save you.
What, from that? No, it's cool.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I gotcha. Absolutely.
We hate Nazis here at the Scene Snobs.
Yes, we do.
And we even hate Nazis on screen.
Really just fascism in general. Haven't seen a good example of fascism because they never fucking work. So there you go.
You know, put the shield on, get Stormbreaker out, fight for the right to party.
Even the fucking Klingons have a fucking council, okay?
Yep. Yeah, but even the Klingons were like honorable.
Yeah, no, they didn't hate each other just because of the way they looked.
Well, I mean, we all saw that Deep Space Nine episode.
Okay, they pick on each other because of the way they look. That's different. That's different.
I mean, there's some things.
There are things. There are societal things.
Oh, my wife is vacuuming. I can always hear it. She made me do the dishes before I came on. Like, I swear to God, it was like that scene in Galaxy Quest when he's like saving the universe. Well, all right, that's a little thick, I think, of me.
Well, when he's doing something pretty big to help save that ship.
Right. I mean, I'm not saving the universe, but I'm entertaining the masses of nobody watching right now.
Bots, bro. We got some bots.
Vakaiti Kasub, sister 19 LOL .online.
Can we delete those?
Listen, I have no idea. Listen, assholes, if you're going to be putting up your bots, at least hit the subscribe button. You know, at least make a bot who's like, well, we'll subscribe to your channel. We'll help you get to 1,000.
Would that be helpful? Yeah, but then everybody be doing it.
You know what I've discovered today? That only AJ is around in the morning and nobody's around on Friday afternoons.
No one's around on the afternoon time at all.
Hey, whatever. They can come back.
Hey, it's good to know.
They can come back and watch this later. I don't care.
That's the whole point of recording. Hey.
What? How dare you say that tonight? Dude.
So what do you got going for the rest of your day, pal?
I have no idea. It's snowing. I don't go out when it snows. Hate that shit.
Fun.
I don't know. I'm just kind of chilling. How about you?
Cool.
What you got going on?
I don't know. Kind of hanging loose. Gonna get some more work done. Been kind of knocking stuff out here and there.
Are you working remote today?
A little bit. Just kind of cleaning up some scraps here and there. I'm working tomorrow, so I'm just more or less prepping myself for what I have to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Save me, an hour of when I'm actually on site of actually getting it done. So.
The tech world. I do not miss
it. It's exciting. What a wild world it is. And then, finishing my view of The Expanse. I'm actually, so I kind of waited for you. I'm at season 3, episode 9. So I'm kind of holding tight. Hey, what's up, 3 Geeks Podcast? That could be Mr. Jason.
Stop pushing your 3 geeks on me.
Or Justin.
Oh, you can
push them on me.
Put your 3 geeks on me. We'll make it an
orgy.
orgy.
All over me. All 3 of them.
Do it. I want your 3 geeks all over me. This turned into something weird, but I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, let's just roll with it.
We just rolled with it. 3 Geeks. What's up? Go check out the 3 Geeks podcast. Hit subscribe here first before you leave, though. And the like button. And so, I'm glad you're waiting for me for the Expanse. I'm almost there. I did watch a little bit because I got home after picking up the kids, and I was like, I got to eat something real quick. So I threw on the Expanse, and they introduced that new girl who killed that dude because he found the thing she planted.
Yeah.
Listen, it takes me a little while to get used to name. Like I learned Prax's name after he was off the show.
Oh yeah, no, he only's referenced by name that I recall like once, and it was he had left, and they asked about him, and I was like, oh yeah.
And it was because Amos was like, oh, we call it Prax's fucking plants or whatever.
Yeah, because he was Doc. He was always Doc.
Yeah, exactly.
They refer to him as Doc, hence he's Doc.
It's Jason. I was glad to see you guys today. Yeah, where
Glad to
were
see
you,
you, buddy?
This is our second time live today.
We're going crazy.
And then we shamed him into switching to his regular account, which you'd better be subscribed under both.
And everyone else who's listening better subscribe to his.
Do it now. Well, first subscribe to ours and hit the like button, and then go subscribe to this.
And don't forget to give us 5 stars and tell us how you really feel on all your platforms.
Yeah. Jesus. Oh my God. Oh, I am Chief. You better be, and don't call me Chief. Call me Master Chief. Because there's going to be a Halo TV show.
Yeah, there is. I'm pretty stoked. How are you feeling about it?
I don't give a good wild shit.
Fair enough.
But I never owned an Xbox.
Oh, fair, yeah.
I've played Halo once.
Oh, wow.
Once. And it was the first one.
It always kills me that you are just so not a gamer. Because, like, I've played through 3 of the Halos. And I was, I was affected as a young one. I had an Xbox. I brought my Xbox to my friend's house where we linked them up and played with each other in co-op. It was freaking awesome.
Well, all right. So let me do the quick rundown. And I have a point to this, trust me. So I had an NES, had a Sega. Well, we had an Atari too, but had an NES, had a Sega. Never really played the NES because my brothers always did. I did play the Sega. Had a PlayStation 1, had a PlayStation 2. Years later, had a PlayStation 3 for like a couple of years, and then immediately got a PlayStation 4. Here's the thing. I don't like to play video games because I get really too obsessed with trying to win them. And then like I'm just up and I'm doing it until I win. And it's not every video. So I try to stay away from them because I'm like, I don't want that level of like I'm staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning trying to do this. And it's not like I get excited every time I see a new game. Like I really have to want to play the game. And I'm weird. I still go back on the Switch and play old NES games before I play anything new.
That's not weird, man. That's totally fair. Everyone gets their level of what they love. And with video games, some people love that style. And some people love the 8-bit. Some people, want just that complete a level kind of feel, I want story. I want scope. I want a massive game. I want to play a movie that's 20 hours long. That's what I love is getting that rich, deep, awesome story with so many characters and, world building and experiencing. But I also struggle with JRPGs, which are, like 10-hour intros. And then you have to, give it like 260 hours. And there's whole like support groups for getting involved in the game and then getting out of the game. Like it's.
Yeah, I can't do that because like Battlefront wrecked me. Because Battlefront, I was just playing all the time, and I was bad at
challenge, man. You
gotta get good at it, and I would keep getting like so. So Joe Loud.
Yeah, so I love
Joe bought a PS4 around the same time I got one, and we both had Battlefront because we had the Battlefront Darth Vader PS4s. And like it would be, and he was living in LA at the time, so he would be like, "Dude, you want to play?" And I'm like, "Fuck, it's 11:30 at night. That means I'm going to be playing until like 5 in the morning." And then we'd play. And we would just be talking to each other about whatever, and he would just be murdering me the entire time. It would just. There were some times, like I talked about Boots on the Ground with Predator, where literally the game would load and he'd shoot me in the head and I'd be dead. And I'm like, "Come on, man!" Like, he's like, "I just saw you, so I took my shot." And I'm like, "You gotta let me move. You gotta let me move."
Joe was real good. Like I played a couple rounds with y'all. And then with Joe, because I also have the Battlefront Special Edition Vader PS4. So I played that thing, and it was great.
I remember, we played a few times. But I remember playing Call of Duty, And I was into it. I liked the game, and I was terrible at it. I was the lowest level you can get. But I would play, and I'd start camping, and like everybody would be bitching and be like, "Why are you camping?" I was like, "Because I'm really bad at this." I was like, "Look at my score. Look at my level. I'm bad. I don't have anything." Like, you got to move, and I'm like, "I don't want to. I'm gonna die." And I'm just having these conversations with people who are just like, "Fine, whatever, stay there." And then they'd throw a grenade at me wherever I was, and I was just like,
that sounds about right.
Yeah, no, every time too. So it just sucked. But
I'd be the dude throwing the grenade, like, come on.
I like adventure games. So
See, yeah, exactly.
Like I loved Metal Gear Solid. That was my game. Like whereas everybody's like so obsessed with Halo, like I love Metal Gear.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it so much. The most recent adventure game I've been playing, where it's not open, you can do an open world, but I'm not. I'm just doing the missions. Is the new Avengers game. Mm-hmm. Not new, but
yeah, it's like a year old. Not even.
Yeah, it's like a year old, and it's pretty good. Whatever. I mean, I'm playing as Miss Marvel a little too much. It's cool that I'm in Jersey City and I'm from Jersey City in a video game, but not that cool where I have to play Miss Marvel all the time. And like I just got, and you know what's fucked up about it? Okay, so I played it, and I played it for like hours. Yeah. Hours to get where I'm at. And it's like I'm 8% in. I'm like, I have to get 100% of this phase before they move on to the next phase. And I'm at 8%, and I've been playing this for hours. And it was not like I'm messed up over and over and over again. No, like when I play, I'm pretty good.
But these are a lot of games, bro. This game has a lot of content now. You got to remember, like playing Red Dead Redemption, that game is hours. You're investing hundreds of hours. You know, there's complicated bits and storylines and things you can do. And also, I do have a question. Now that you have your superhero from Jersey City, are you getting a Ms. Marvel tattoo?
I would. It's cool looking.
I think you have to, right next to the JC, bro.
It's John Christopher now. I changed that up because everybody thought it was Jesus Christ. I was like, I purposely named my son with the initials JC just so that way people could stop asking about my JC. Because everybody's like, "Oh, how long you been down with Christ?" Like, shut up. It's not about that.
It's Jersey City, bro.
And they still don't get it. So I'm like, whatever. I'm naming my kid JC. We got a few people commenting, and this is an open forum show, so I should probably bring them up. Jason says, "Ha ha ha! I just rewatched all of Chucky. Nice. Ha ha ha! On you for rewatching that show."
I want to actually watch that show. I got like 3 episodes in, and I enjoyed it.
Well, we were all right. So here's the funny part, and I'm going to throw Jason under the bus on this. Jason's like, "Hey, do you want to do a reaction show to Chucky?" And this was like when the first episode had come out. And I was like, "Sure." And we just we're such busy guys. So like, I'm not taking anything away from him. I was like, "Oh, we didn't get a chance to do it." So I never watched another episode again thinking we're going to do the show eventually.
Right.
And we never did it. And Jason, I'm telling you now, we're not doing that show.
You didn't enjoy it?
I didn't watch the show. I'm not saying I'll watch it, but like now I'm past it. Like I just don't want to do the reaction show anymore. And it has nothing to do with Jason. I'm just like, once you get past that point, like we had a buddy of ours wanted to do a Peacemaker reaction show.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I'm past it. I was like, you took too long. And I realized like for the first 3 episodes, I took too long.
But then it's funny because now it's going to have a snapback effect, like the way, Tales from the Crypt. We have that one, Crypt Kickers. I still want to do that. I love that show. It'd be awesome.
You do it. I'm done. I'm out. I get bored. If I get bored too easy, and I already have enough shows, I'm just like, I'm all right. Like you have to get me right away. And if I do one episode, and then you're like, all right, next episode, we're going to do the second episode. Let's do this. I'm in because I'll plan. Yeah. But if it goes by and there's like 5 episodes, I'm like, I'm good. I don't care. I don't care about Halo either, but I love Xbox. I've never owned an Xbox. I don't know how to play an Xbox. I don't even know what the controllers. I think there's an A, B, C, and D, right?
Yep, and it's got giant. It's giant. The original was like this much. It was like 3 times the size of a normal controller. It was fantastic.
That's fair.
It would take throwing a lot better. Difficult contact.
I love the NES on Switch. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Radar, what's going on, buddy?
Radar.
Radar, I see your second comment. I'm going to wait on that because I do want to bring that up to Casey. It's such a good show. Let's do it. No, I'm good. I'm sorry, man. It's nothing against you. I'm good. If I'm past it, I just don't want to do it. So like if there's another show that's coming out that you're like really into coming up and you want to do it,
like The Expanse,
I would, but I'm too into The Expanse. I can't, like the talk that we had in an earlier show today was like about as far as I think I can go. Like I can go in depth because it's such a good show. Yeah. I couldn't do a show by show.
Yeah, I don't know. I could.
I don't have the
I break that thing down so much. This is my like fourth, maybe fifth rewatch, because every time there was a new season from 4 on, I would just rewatch and then rewatch and then rewatch. So now it's like, this is it. This is the final full rewatch. And I am still picking up bits and things that like just, it's mind-boggling how they connected these dots from so early on and did such a good job. And it helps when, you know, the author is a freaking writer and producer on the show.
This show is like a Star Trek. Like you can go back and rewatch and revisit.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. It's not a show that I think that you could just visit. Like Star Trek, you could just watch an episode and walk away.
I've watched it so many times, man. All I do is I hammer it down to like my 19 episodes that I will pay attention to. The other ones,
The Expanse, you can't. The Expanse is so continued. You have to watch it.
Yep,
it's addicting. I get that. Yeah, totally. I don't blame you because I took too long too. I'm not saying it was you, Jason. I'm just you got to catch me. I'm like a Pokemon. You got to catch me quick, or I'm like on something else. But you should reward yourself. I do. I have a coffee.
He plays with a joystick.
I do. I masturbate. Always. Sorry. Casey, call me. Let's make Tales from the Crypt. Do it. That's a lie, Mick. We did the first episode of we did. I think we did the first.
No, but then we got pushed back because life. That was a rough go. Yeah.
Again, there was nothing. I'm not blaming anyone else. Like I know for me, like I got really busy and like it just was a lot for everybody to coordinate together.
I started the first move of my 2 moves that around that time that year.
In a month.
Like, yeah.
In a month.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and then we had Carolina Fear Fest. I was dying. You know, there was a lot of factors. And Jason, we were trying to coordinate with you, and we were just terrible at it.
We weren't even coordinating with ourselves, bro. Like, I mean, we were off track.
I don't even know where the first episode of Tales from the Crypt is. The Crypt Kickers. I don't even know where it is.
I know my intro somewhere on my dead hard drive.
John says, gentlemen.
What's up, John, buddy?
What's up, buddy? Radar says we should do the Lord of the Rings show. I'm okay. You guys can.
You're not interested in it?
I'm not. But it's like Halo for me.
Fair.
I really like. I will never read the Lord of the Rings books again. I don't care. I read them in high school, and I read them because it was like you had to read them.
Required, yeah.
And you know, do book reports and stuff like that. And you can't fake that. You can't. Yeah. There's no cliff notes for the Lord of the Rings because anybody who assigns Lord of the Rings knows if you're bullshit. Yeah. And trust me, I tried. I watched the animated show, and he knew. The animated movie, he knew. Mm-hmm. So I read those books.
Well, I love The Hobbit, and then the animated Hobbit back from that creepy time was the best, man. That was like one of my favorite movies. It was awful and creepy and weird. Gandalf was super angry at everyone.
Oh my God. The thing I hate the most, and I've said this before on the show, and I know people know this, I hate animation from the 70s. It was stupid and weird, and I hated it. Like, goddamn, if you had animation in the 70s, it was a whirlwind of trippiness that just the animators in the 70s had to be literal monsters under the bed. Just that's my only takeaway from anything that was animated in the 70s. It was the worst.
I mean, The Last Unicorn being kind of the pinnacle of that era.
Like, one of my favorite Disney movies was animated movies is Robin Hood.
Oh, agreed.
Came out in the 70s.
Oodalali.
Fucking hate that animation. It's
I'm
so
okay with that.
creepy
That
and
one was all
strange.
right.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That one was all right, and it's still creepy and disgusts me. And I like it. That's a weird part. I like it.
Well, I'm the same way with The Hobbit. When I rewatch The Hobbit, I'm like, oh, this reminds me of like the first time as a child. I was super creeped out, but I was totally into it.
Thank God TV shows in the 80s, in the early 80s, started coming out, and they were like, we need to sell toys. Because that 70s animation was not going to last.
Yeah.
Something more pristine came about. Like 70, not even 60s. 60s was still pretty clean. 70, there was, oh my God, it was like the movies of the 70s. Something had to be grittier. It had to be grittier. They had to make it almost like, it's almost like you were watching snuff films for kids.
Oh.
Not really, but that's as close as, but the Halloween tree?
Heavy metal?
I mean, yes, that is horrifying animation. I do like heavy metal too.
I mean, so do I, man. But yeah, that's that rotoscope, baby.
Yeah,
Radar
said it too. Radar said it.
Yeah, Radar knows what's up.
It was so bad. Yep. I hated it. Oh, it's the worst. Okay, what else? Okay, so Jason says, Mick, you've sold me on the Expanse. Like Casey saw you on the Expanse. Casey. All right, so there's a friend that Casey has that I hate, and every time he would talk about, and now Casey is out of this. Casey is a mensch. He doesn't talk shit about anybody, but I hate this guy. So when this guy would talk about The Expanse, I refused to watch it on general principle of like, I don't like you, so if you like this, I don't want to talk about it. But Casey would always talk about The Expanse, and I was like, on general principle, I'm not watching the show. But enough time has passed, and I never have to see that human being again. And Casey still has continued to talk about The Expanse. Now it's ended, and he raved about the ending. And I was like, I'll give it a try. For Casey, I will give it a try. And it's the best decision I ever made. And because it is such a good show. And I swear to God,
you all heard it. Everyone heard it. Best decision he's ever made.
Well, you know, I'm going to hold that until I watch the end. If that ending is satisfying, I won't be mad at you.
Fair enough.
But
it's not Dexter. Look, we have Dexter that exists in the world that was the most miserable. It soured an entire series for me. And then even going forward into the new series, I struggle with it because I still hear that voiceover and I'm angry. It hurt me and it took something away, and that sucks. The Expanse did the exact opposite. It gave me everything I wanted with one of the greatest endings I've ever had with a decent wrap up.
Good. Now you made me nervous because you said decent wrap up. You would have said great wrap up if it was.
No. Now I have realized I had to underplay when I went as far as I did. I oversold, and then I had to immediately bring it back.
Immediately take it right back. No, you can't have this.
Immediately put it out in your mind.
AJ, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show. John Wass. I was the kid with the notebooks full of Led Zeppelin lyrics with How old are you? 57? I thought you were younger than me.
57, man. He's like our age, bro.
No, I kid because my brother was that guy. My brother was the guy who was always like listening to Led Zeppelin and writing stuff down. So I kid. That's why I said he's not 57 either. How old is my brother? How old am I?
Oh,
I'm gonna be 40 not next month.
How many meds are you on currently?
Not a lot.
All right. Make it sure.
I'm still in my pajamas from.
Oh, that's fantastic. I showered and then put on pretty much the same thing.
I was like, it's gonna snow today. I'm dropping the kids off at school. I'm picking them up, and I'm doing this, and I'm just rolling out with my. Well, I was wearing a hat. That's why my hair is.
Living your truth, bro. I get it.
Poor guy. I didn't read his whole thing. Let's have lyrics with explanations of how they cross-reference the Lord of the Rings. Sometimes Tolkien's Elvish scripts. Hardcore nerd, and I love it. You shine a light of nerddom on us, and I love that,
bro. If you're going Quenya, I'm with you.
I have no idea what that means. See, I'm not that deep into Lord of the Rings. I love the movies. The books. Listen, I take nothing away from the books. I'm glad I read them. I will never read them again. They're too long. My kid read them like 3 times now. I don't know how. and he was way younger than I was when I read them. And like, he's really into it. And I know there's this whole beautiful world there. So I have a lot of respect for Lord of the Rings. And I have a lot of respect, even more so, for Lord of the Rings nerds. And I say that saying that I'm a nerd, like a Star Wars nerd and Star Trek, things like that. It's just Lord of the Rings isn't my thing.
Yeah. Oh, no. And I get it. I get it. There was a time where there was never a time I felt that way, but there was a time where I learned Quenya, which is the Elvish language, which is, well, the more common Elvish language, and was attempting to learn High Elf and all that other crap. It was crazy. Luckily, then, like, I stopped and just focused on sci-fi more, because fantasy is a deep world.
I try to watch, have a marathon of the 3 Lord of the Rings movies, and the uncut, full hardcore, like, this is gonna take me 2 days to do.
I do it twice a year, minimum.
You can't do that shit. I can't do it twice a year. You're a fucking trooper.
But I'll put it on while I'm like cooking, doing other stuff.
You have to.
Like
you'll die if you don't.
It's 5 hours a freaking movie. Not really, but
it's so much.
A lot of content.
It's 4 hours a movie. That's 12 hours, dude.
I remember that was the way I used to track my shifts at work when I would do 12-hour weekend shifts, because they were a little slower way back when. They were talking 6 years ago. It would be slower on the weekend. So I was like, all right, cool. I will put on the Lord of the Rings extended edition and just have it playing in the background, and it tracked my 12-hour shift.
Remember when I got Shudder when I was working there, and I would do the 12-hour shifts, and then like that one weekend I watched every horror documentary they had. And
you went so hard on those.
So I watched every horror documentary, and it covered 24 hours. And now, so everybody knows, the Friday the 13th documentary is 6.5 hours long, and the Nightmare on Elm Street documentary is 4 hours and 15 minutes. And I watched them back to back. Yeah. I did no work that weekend. Now, granted, nothing came in. And
no, that was a beautiful thing. That was back when the ticketing system was life. So sometimes there'd be weekends where nothing came in, and it's like, holy cow. It's amazing.
Yeah. I don't think we even had much going on. And I didn't really have any cleanup or anything. We didn't have any builds going on. And it was just like, I'm just going to sit and watch this. This is going to be my weekend where I don't do anything. And that right there was almost the whole shift. And I watched the Hellraiser documentary. I watched the Fright Night documentary. Like, every horror documentary they had, I watched. But let's get to the comments. I feel bad.
Right?
Radar, that Robin Hood movie doesn't get enough love. That's because they made a better one with Kevin Costner.
Okay, you need to pump the brakes right now. That is absolutely unacceptable. I love Prince of Thieves, and I take nothing away from it. But you do not compare the two, okay? Robin Hood with foxes is more Robin Hood than Prince of Thieves.
Oh,
okay?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know that was kind of a harsh joke, but like, yes. And anybody who's read Robin Hood knows that. Prince of Thieves was good. It was a good movie.
No, Prince of Thieves is a great movie. Not comparable. Not apples and oranges, bro.
I remember loving that. Like, I went to see that with my grandmother and my brothers. And like, I didn't understand why nobody liked it. And I was like, I loved it. It's Robin Hood. He was amazing.
Yeah.
I was a kid though. Even with that, I respect that Tolkien isn't for everyone. I respect the difference of opinion. But that's the thing. My opinion isn't that it's bad or anything. I just cannot devote that much. But it's the same with like a lot of things. Like,
well, because you have your own level of appreciation for it, in the fact that you still watch the movies, you still like the world that he built. You just don't want to read the damn books anymore because it's a lot. I get that. Some people are all about finding out Silmarillion and going deeper, and some people aren't. Some people are like, no, this world that I got to see is perfectly radical and what I like.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that world, I'll say it. The Tolkien world that he built and has been built from him is probably the best fictional built world ever.
Yeah, agreed.
And now I'm saying that as a layman fan. And I'm still down. Oh God, Radar. Watership Down.
Ugh.
That is horrifying. Stop it.
It's like a Secret of Nim. Yeah, that's a great kids movie to have. Oh, it's terrifying. Are you kidding me? I tried to show my daughter at like 4 years old, and she's like, I was like, oh my God.
I'm showing my kids Secret of Nim. because I never want to watch it again. Because 70s horror, 70, I was going to say 70s horror movies because they're scarier than Texas
It's
Chainsaw.
terrifying. Nicodemus is the scariest freaking thing on earth as a child, man.
It's horrifying.
What?
Anybody who says horror movies were birthed at the end of the 70s into the 80s has never seen an animated movie in the 70s.
Right.
Thank you, Ivan Drago, for leaving us another comment. Jason Taylor, and I'm taking up. I don't know what to say. I lost the word. I take umbrage to this. There we go.
There it is.
New Dexter had a great wrap up, made up for the shitty finale. Yes, it did make up for the shitty finale. Don't use the word great.
Yeah, and I'm not willing to forgive it yet. I'm not saying I won't. I'm not saying I do have interest. Look, I've got a Clancy Brown rule. I have to watch it. It's got Clancy Brown. I love that man. I love his acting. Every time I hear his voice, I'm inspired by whatever it is. Even on that shitty Sleepy Hollow show that we watched, that he was only on for 3 episodes.
Wait. So you didn't watch New Blood?
No.
Watch New Blood because it does make up for the shitty finale.
See, it's just that voiceover, man. Once I hear the main characters with Dexter's voiceover start, I'm just like,
You know
like
what the best part is?
I tried it. I've tried it twice, and I was.
They do it right because the best part of it is when it starts, like he's not killing anymore; he's just living life. So there's no voiceover narration because he's not thinking in that way.
Okay,
and it's beautifully done. So when he's thrust back into it, the narration starts back up, but it's almost like second guessing himself all the time.
Okay, but my skepticism still exists, so
and I don't blame you. But if you want to get the bad taste of that last season out, you should watch New Blood.
Okay, all right.
Now I'm not saying, oh my god, dude, it's as good as season 4.
Yeah.
No. But it's better than anything after season 4.
Okay, groovy.
And season 3.
I will accept this. Well, yeah, and season 5 was pretty strong. It's
no, you take that Julia Stiles shit out of here.
Hey, man, don't you mess with Save the Last Dance? Unacceptable.
Oh God, I watched that on a first date with a girl like that. Yeah, oof, that movie was bad. Lord of the Rings.
What a Here on Earth? Did you remember Here on Earth with Chris Klein?
I like that better than
Lily Sobieski.
Last Dance. Oh, that was like young Helen Hunt who disappeared, and never went anywhere.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings is my ambient. I respect it, but I can't stay awake. Fair. Jason, you can't stay awake anyway. You're always doing stuff. Like you're always like being super dad or working or doing podcasting. You have no time for anything, sir. We can't even call you 3 geeks anymore because you're literally doing stuff. You can't be a geek. You're always busy. Was that too much? Did I go too far?
I don't get it.
I don't know. I'm trying to give him love, but at the same time,
as busy as I am. I mean, we all are. We're grown men trying to be good dads. We do a lot, and then we get random days in the afternoon where we can do this.
No, because then it's like, hey, it's Friday. I'm doing a live show. Should my kids eat? Maybe, but I can't afford it at the moment. That is not true, by the way. That is not true. I would never buy Stormbreaker over my kids eating. I just want to put that out in the
yeah. See, it's funny that you show that part of your house. The rest of the house is destitute. There's like lawn furniture inside.
They're sitting on blankets in the living room, not watching anything. They're just looking at a painting on the wall, and it's just like it's a crappy painting too. And it's tumbleweeds just going by, and it's like, check out my MTV crib. It's so bad.
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh, but anyway, Jason Taylor says, I watched both of those. I love the Shudder documentaries. They were good. They have some solid ones. Oh, Kathleen, what's going on? Oh, we took this so long. I bet you she's been here for like 15 minutes. I live in the middle of the day. Live in the middle. Why didn't I get that?
Words, buddy.
This is amazing. We were just free, and it was like, shit, why not?
Worked out.
Also, Casey's always had hair.
Yeah,
he just hides it well.
Yeah, and this time I took the sides off of it, so now
he's got hair. Joe Miller hair.
Yeah, I got the full Josephus Miller going.
I love it.
Doors and corners, kid.
I don't know if we got to Cephas. Did they say Cephas yet? Are you giving me spoilers?
No, that's legitimately his name. Freaking Anderson Dolls calls him at that.
Oh, okay. Remember the Black Cauldron? Yeah, I do.
Black Cauldron was great.
It sucks.
No, it's wonderful.
I hate 70s animation, man.
I mean, it's not as good as Sword in the Stone because that witch lady was scary, but creepy and hilarious and terrifying.
Well, Radar says, never seen a Disney movie that ruined a potential franchise so hard. Fair. I guess. I didn't like it. The original, I didn't like Sword in the Stone. I didn't like any of that stuff. Like, my wife loves that stuff.
Yeah.
And she puts it on for the kids, and I'm like, I'm out. I was like, I can't even watch this stuff. I can't do it. The original showrunner from the first 4 seasons is back. On what?
He was talking about the Dexter New Blood, which is why I'm going to give it a shot. I will. Absolutely.
I think you should, just to cleanse your palate.
Yeah. That's fair.
That's the only reason I'm telling you to watch it.
Yeah, I get it.
Like if season 8 didn't exist, I would be like, nah, you can skip it. But like, you need to get season 8 out of your head.
So it's just trapped there. Every time I've tried to go back and watch the Trinity Killer season just to clear it all out, and I couldn't.
Yeah, I know. We rewatched up to season 4, and Mary was like, "Yeah, I'm going to keep going." I'm like, "Bye." I'm out. I was like, once Rita's dead, I'm out. That's it. Yeah. Kathleen said she's been here for 10 minutes. All good. All right. Well, I'm glad we didn't keep you waiting too long. We like to say hi though, but we get caught in tangents. I appreciate you guys being here. This is keeping me from watching Legend of Vox Machina without Kathleen, because that would get me in trouble. Yeah, after The Expanse, I think I'm on to that. That looks funny.
Yeah, it does.
Sneeze Snobs while Walmart loads my groceries. It's a good Friday. I love that you're watching this from Walmart and your husband's watching this from home, and he's probably like, I could probably watch one episode of that.
How much could I get away with?
Not anymore, and I'm leaving this up. I would kill you with your own sword, John. Here you go, Kathleen. It's very heavy. It's very heavy. In fact, I kind of think I might keep this by my bed.
Wow.
If I ever have a burglar come in,
you wielding that would be pretty intimidating.
Well, I'm already 6'8", 937 pounds. If I'm walking down with Stormbreaker, there's going to be trouble.
You really, when you're being a 937-pound man, where do you go shopping for all of your wonderful shirts?
Don't make me say it.
I'm not going to.
I'm going to have to now.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I got to shop at. There's like 2 places I can shop. It's Destination XL, which isn't as bad as the next one, which is called King Size.
King Size, bro.
King Size. So
because you are a king.
You want to hear something really funny?
Fucking crown and get over it.
You shut your mouth. You want to hear something really funny? Okay. Yeah. No, I can't believe I'm going to do this. So my wife got me a pair of sweatpants that are super comfortable, and I wear them as much as I can around the house. I'd never go out. Like when I went to go pick up the kids, it's like I'm staying in the car. If I have to get out of the car, I'm in like jeans or dress pants. My wife got me, look at this. They're size 7 sweatpants, right? Oh. And she was like, I didn't know size 7 would be too big or not. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I know I'm huge, but that kind of makes me sad. But whatever.
Bro, it shouldn't at all. That's amazing, because that means you could literally stand on our boat and you could catch the wind for us.
I could.
I'll fuck it. Yeah, man. We'll go sailing together. See? Find the positive, brother.
Oh, Radar brings up something really good. And let's go through real quick. All right, so John Wass says melee weapons during a home invasion are seriously intimidating.
So I have katanas everywhere.
It'll do damage too. I was telling Casey in the last live show we did this morning, I hit my hand with it, like right here, and I immediately got excited. Like, did I draw blood? Like, is this real? So that's how twisted I am. But Radar says I keep the Thundercat sword by mine.
Perfect.
I owned a full hardcore sword, real sword replica of the Thundercat sword when I lived in Florida. Should never have owned that. So I'm not going to say that I became full hardcore Florida mode when I owned that sword, but like I bought 2 things. I bought that sword at a convention, and I bought a crossbow. neither was a good idea. So, and especially when you have like 3 other roommates and you're all in college. The sword got broken.
Of course.
It was a real sword. And it got broken because I was always trying to Conan in the backyard. Now, can you imagine?
Which part? Like, you stole my father's sword, and then like
no, like when he's on the beach and he's like doing moves.
Oh yeah,
I was a lot thinner back then. And I was a lot more agile. So I'm like trying, and I did not look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. But like I was trying to like, twirl the sword and do stuff.
No, you looked better than.
And I thought, well, for me, I thought it would be cool to throw the sword and have it land. Because it's Florida, so it's all dirt.
Wait, so this is like full Highlander now. So now you want the end of Highlander when he steps up and just hucks that puppy.
I thought it would be great. So I threw it up and I miscalculated.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
And it hit a tree. Now, like, it didn't bend or anything because it's steel, but the handle broke. The hilt and such broke, and the emblem. And I was just so distraught because I'm like, I'm not going to wield a blade around. What am I? Am I some kind of lame-o? And like, I'm not getting it fixed. Let's face it. I'm a college kid. I'm not getting my sword fixed.
No chance. No.
How do you bring a sword somewhere and like, can you fix this? I was playing with it.
I broke it in a move. We were too young to even think of I broke it in a move. Like it just became, of course I was playing with it. It's a sword and I'm under 25.
That's no, I was actually older than 25.
Okay, well, under 30.
Well, no, maybe I was 25.
Actually, no, I couldn't even take it in now with a straight face. No.
That, you know what the fucked up part is? That's the second Thundercat sword I lost in a backyard.
Not at all shocking.
When I was a kid, I had the toy, the plastic one, and
the one that grew?
No, it didn't grow. It was the sword, but it was plastic. This one wasn't a real sword. Yeah. So I lost a fake one and a real one, but it was both Thundercat swords. And I was in the backyard and I was throwing it. I don't know why. I don't know why I see swords and I'm like, let me throw it.
It's clearly
a bad idea.
Something just ingrained within you to throw swords.
Just Thundercat swords. And I never threw my Last Samurai sword. That's good. Legit. That's from the movie. I will never throw that. But like I was throwing it. I was a kid. I was like 8. I was like, whatever. And it got lost at the top of a tree in the neighbor's yard. And you lived in Jersey City. You weren't getting that back. And I never saw it again. I also thought I would get in trouble if I told people. So I didn't tell anybody I lost it.
Yeah.
So I just left it. So yeah, I lost 2 Thundercat swords in my life in a backyard throwing them. That's stories I can tell in my life.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I've lost more swords and moves than I care to count.
Yeah, you're a good swordsman, though. I hated that when we got those foam swords and we were like, we're going to learn how to sword fight and it's going to be amazing. And okay, so here's the story. Shut up, Casey. Here. All right, so no, I got to have you here for your reactions. So we got foam swords. Like, they're actually practice swords. No, excuse me. And we were like, yeah, we'll practice and we'll fight each other. And it'll be great. And I think at the time, Casey and I were roommates and we're like, this is going to be amazing. And it was me, Casey, and another guy, Voldemort, we'll call him. Lord Voldemort was there. And, Voldemort and I were like, oh, man, we're going to be so good at this. Oh, it's going to be great. We're going to practice. And Casey was like, yeah, man, I can't wait. And Casey, like, wiped the floor with us. Like, we would get in our stance and go, and it was just like, you were bewildered by the time you lost your sword. You realized you lost your sword. You're like, did you take fencing? And he was like, no. And I was just like, what did you do? And he's like, I watch movies. And I'm like, God, Jesus Christ. And he was like doing he was like Obi-Wan in some instances, like behind the back and stuff. And I'm like, nah, I gave up. I was like, I'm not doing this. Casey showed me that I could never live in medieval times. That was the only thing you made me realize through that whole thing.
That's amazing. I hope that's all I made you realize in life. I hope that is your epitaph for me. When I pass, that's the way you will always, I will be etched into your heart as Well, Casey was proof I can't live in medieval times.
Casey and the Thundercats have made me realize that I should never have swords. That's it. That's like those two things have made me realize that I should never have swords. So
That was fun.
Radar says, did yours light up at the Eye of Thunder as well? Yes, it lit up. It had like a little button on the hilt that you could like click on and it lit up. And it had two settings because it was the button would flick and then you could press it. And when you pressed it, it would like flash, but flash almost like it was coming on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could set it to like it was on.
Yeah, I had the half sword one, the one that like was part of the claw glove as well.
I want that.
Oh man, I busted that claw glove. That was such a bad day. I was like 6. I was devastated. It's one of my earliest memories.
It's so sad, man. But I would love a replica of that and the shorter version of the sword just for the wall.
That'd be neat.
What is it? John said, dude, I'm 42 and still play with swords. There's no shame in it.
Yeah.
There is when you keep losing them.
Well, no, there's only shame in going to get them repaired. Unless by someone else who understands is they're on Sword Geek level as well. You got to find other Sword Geeks. Otherwise, it's just uncomfortable because people are like,
you go to a Sword Geek and you're like, can you repair this? What happened?
Yeah.
I was throwing it.
Okay. Then be careful the level of geek you're speaking with, because then they might just judge the shit out of you and be like, ugh, you moron. Why would you do such a thing?
Well, listen, again, I'm a giant and I should probably be more of a Viking. Where they,
I just think you've got Stormbreaker, bro. Don't be a sword guy. Get something like Swordbreaker or Stormbreaker. Yeah,
that's it. Listen. Thor had the laziest weapon of anybody because it always came back to him. He didn't have to go to it, and that's what I want in life. I want something that will just come back to me when I throw it, and nothing ever did that. In fact, it just got broken when I threw it. If someone knows how to repair a sword, they understand. Trust me, I've been there. I do trust you on that job.
Oh, absolutely.
I do.
You know what's funny though? I just imagine your face as you throw something and being like, "Oh, it just breaks." Because I think I throw something and it goes like 5 feet, and I'm like, "Hooray!" And yet with your strength, you throw something and it's 50 feet into a tree, like 4 houses down. Like you say a neighbor's house, I'm thinking it's 2 houses over.
Dude,
you have such force that you don't even realize that you're just launching stuff at an alarming rate because, physics and math, nothing we actually do in our mind as a child. We just do things.
You want to hear the messed up part? Out of that purchase, that was the second worst purchase because the crossbow, you know how you realize you shouldn't own a crossbow?
When you shoot someone.
No, when you own a crossbow. You find out what level of crossbow owner you are when you own a crossbow. And I did find out what level of crossbow owner I was because we immediately, my roommates and I were like, let's shoot stuff in the backyard.
Of course.
And the first shot we take is mine, of course, because it's mine. We shoot at a tree because it's a crossbow. It's cool. And it hit the tree. And the arrow bounced back at us to the point where we ran. And we thought that was fun.
Yep.
So guess what we kept doing?
Yep.
Yeah. Until at one point, one of us was just like, can we just shoot at a box for a little while?
Ooh, there it is.
And we did that. And then I was just like, I feel like we dodged a bullet here. And if I don't throw this crossbow away, something bad is going to happen.
No, 100% agree. I mean, that was me shooting. I loved archery. And I had a couple of bows growing up, and I would always be shooting. Every once in a while, you're out in the middle of a field that's maybe 20 acres, and you just go, wonder how high these go. And you just start shooting them straight up. And then it becomes a game of trying to avoid the arrow. That was a lot of fun. And having your your parents catch you and go, "What is wrong with you?" It's like, I don't know. I mean, it would have been funnier when I was just 14 doing it. It was a little tougher to eat when I was 21. Went back to visit. It was like, oh, I remember this thing. Immediately shoot it up.
I've done that too. And I've done that once and I realized this is not a good idea.
Yeah, oh, it's repeated for me because there's that rush. Which is way better than drugs. Kids shooting arrows in the sky is way better than drugs.
I am telling you that, to me, I think owning, if you ever have a thought in your head while owning a bow and arrow or a crossbow, to shoot it up and you're not aiming at a bad guy flying down from the sun, you should not own a crossbow or bow and arrow.
Yeah, you should definitely keep that at like targets, generally in front of you.
And you should be able to hit those targets. Let's just say the same for guns too. Let's just anything that fires projectiles should not be shot straight up.
Yeah, generally not good.
That's given a lot of, that's given a freebie to a lot of people. So, Jesus Christ, we're like an hour and a half.
I know. It's been wild. What a ride. We have gone everywhere.
I am, yeah.
You got a lot of clips.
We talk about a lot of stuff, yeah. I don't even know if there's any other geek stuff going on. I haven't checked Geek Timer at all today.
Oh, we should probably do that. Look into it.
I'm looking. A lot about The Expanse.
Well, because The Expanse is incredible, and we should keep talking about The Expanse, because everyone should fall in love with The Expanse.
No, because
The Expanse.
If we keep talking about The Expanse, we're eventually going to get to spoilers of The Expanse, and I don't think we should do that.
Yeah, we've managed to dance around quite a bit, and I have really held back because you're only like an episode away from stuff I want to talk about. I'm like,
Oh, no.
What'd you do?
I saw something that I think Casey will either love or hate.
Oh, no. Did you? What?
Okay. So let me see.
All right.
Okay. So Netflix is making a live action He-Man and Masters of the Universe movie.
Okay.
Kyle Allen has been cast. I don't know who Kyle Allen is. I figured I didn't know if you would like a remake of that.
Well, Masters of the Universe is one of my favorite movies of all time. But that's because of a nostalgia movie. The factor, like, it takes me back to Germany over that summer, hanging out there and just renting it from the on-base video rental store a lot, and I just dug it. I was into it. I loved He-Man growing up. I liked it. It was fun. Dolph Lundgren did a great job. Did exactly what he needed to do, and Frank Langella was amazing as Skeletor. So Gwildor was a little weird, but whatever. You can't do Orko. I understand.
No, they could have done Orko. I feel like they really.
I think I was fine with it. Everything they did, I was fine with, and I will tell that to myself for the rest of my days. And Evelyn was, wow.
I mean, come on, man. Don't be fine with that.
No, it's great. So whatever they're going to do, that's fine. And you know how I stand on remakes. Anyone should do anything they want to. And if people are going to watch it, it might be good. It might suck. I don't know. We'll see.
Very fair. My friends and I would wrap machetes in cloth, and I don't even want to finish this.
Soak them in gas.
Soak them in gas. Light them in fire, and then fight each other.
That's why I'm so happy I don't have boys. Yes.
Hey, man. But it was outside, so it was awful. Perfectly safe. Our moms are still pissed about it. John, what?
Bro, that is amazing.
What the fuck, John? What the fuck? That's all you like. First off, if you walked out and were like, "Hey, man, we used to take machetes and wrap them in cloth." All right, I see where maybe the logic as a kid, you're like, "Oh, if we wrap them in cloth, they won't hurt anybody." It's still messed up. It's just a machete, so it's still messed up.
Yeah, of course.
And then soak them in gasoline. First off, if you don't ever light that on fire, it's still wildly dangerous and you can murder somebody. And you lit them on fire and then fought each other. You're friends. You didn't say my enemies and I.
Hey, don't forget, You know, I'm going to defend this because you know what? When you're young, you got to figure out how to make lightsabers. All right. And that was the only way to get that close to having actual lightsabers. Man, I get it. Look, it wasn't hot enough to create plasma, but it was good enough.
The scene snobs are explicitly telling anyone watching this of any age that we do not endorse or condone in any way, shape, or form what John did.
Not play with fire. No one play with fire.
No one play with machetes. No one play with gasoline. No one play with fire. There's a myriad of things that you should not play with in this sentence. there's a whole lot to unravel here, and one of them should be the machetes.
Yeah, that's fair. I was trying to skip past that part because, you know,
this is a sentence structure where everything you mention significantly gets worse as you go on. And it literally, like, you framed this sentence perfectly to say, if you were going to rank the worst to the best, you did it in the right way. Because wrapping machetes in cloth is already a terrible thing to do. Soaking them in gasolines, even worse. Lighting them on fire, even worse. But if you were a guy or kid, guy, whatever, who wrapped a machete in cloth, soaked it in gasoline, lit it on fire, and stood holding it up high to say, I have the flaming sword, that would be rough enough. But then you decided to fight each other. And that's, oh my God. Oh, it was incredibly stupid. I make no excuses for the stupidity of my late teens and early 20s.
Hey, nope. Same. You're not allowed to strike down on that one. I absolutely played with gasoline and fire in my early 20s.
Doing what?
Maybe wrapping sticks and using them as torches.
You were playing Indiana Jones. Now, I'm not saying that's a good idea, but you're in your 20s. If you get burned, that's on you. If you're a kid, somebody should have been paying attention. But what I'm saying is you were in your 20s playing Indiana Jones with a torch, just going to explore. They were fighting each other with flaming swords. Fighting
You're right. It does make it way cooler. John is so cool. Seriously.
Listen.
It's amazing.
Listen, if this was a music video, I'd be looking at you like a Greek god. But as a father of two boys, this horrifies me in so many levels.
Yes, because you're going to have to deal with this, and it's going to be from Jack.
And I like
Jack is going to be.
Yeah, I know. I like how Kaplan's like, that's my husband, folks. Radar says, except Mick asking Casey about Scream Queen. Oh my God! I'm so sorry, Radar. We missed that. We used to have fireworks fights. We did that. We did that. That wasn't a good idea either, but we did do that.
Or like, did you guys ever have BB gun fights? Because I had those.
Yeah, that was a bad idea too. Yeah, I did not like that though. Even when they were like, "Oh, let's do this," and I was like,
"But only below the waist, man."
Nah. I know, right? No,
nah.
You can't.
They weren't. Those freaking Red Riders, the little daisy freaking lever actions, man. Those things were not ever going in a straight line. And God forbid, if you thought you were safe in the water, it would just deflect off of the water and then hitch somewhere else more dangerous. Mm-mm.
Yeah. So, Case, last night when I did a Geek Fest Live impromptu last night, and we were talking about Scream Queens, and we've talked about my stance, like when we have Frank on the show and stuff about, like, I think Scream Queens is thrown out too loosely. And one of the things that came out, Radar had asked about Jennifer Love Hewitt, and I do not think she's a Scream Queen.
Okay.
She was in 2 horror movies, I know what you did last summer movies, the first 2. And she didn't really continue her career down a horror path.
Ghost Whisperer.
That anything CBS does not count as a horror path. No.
Buddy, look, I get where you're going with it. It might be a lighter version of it. It's not, it's like True Calling-esque kind of thing where it's the gray area because there's a lot of drama to it and it's, it's basic cable. So it has its own sort of stigma attached to it because of the production studio. But yeah, the production studio is such. But it still counts. It still flies in that world, man. It's in that hemisphere. If we put Charmed
All
in
right.
that hemisphere, bro, it's got to live there. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing. The reason I don't count it is because I don't want to. And no, I am kidding.
And I
But like,
completely understand that mentality, but that doesn't take it away from the fact that it
anyone
is.
on Charmed was not a scream queen. They're not. It's okay. You can count that as a horror element show.
Yeah, I will agree that they're, well, Alyssa Milano, maybe.
No, we're not giving her
No,
Embrace of the Vampire.
You're not giving Embrace of the Vampire? You're not.
No, it's not
That
happening.
was a different movie. That was a different kind of movie.
I will count Embrace of the Vampire as a horror movie. You're
Yes.
not getting Scream Queen from that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not getting it from Charmed. So Jennifer Love Hewitt does not, on the basis of Ghost Whisperer, is not getting Scream Queen, in my opinion.
I mean, I think I Know What You Did Last Summer was such that it does deserve some serious consideration.
Like, for me, but that's the thing. I think Scream Queen is thrown around too lightly. Like, any woman who's in a horror movie is going to call herself a Scream Queen now. I started in a horror movie and it's pretty popular. Like, no, you're not a Scream
They're not
Queen.
Danielle Harris.
Can we come up with another name?
Danielle Harris is a Scream Queen.
Yeah, well, like, that's perfect example. Danielle Harris, Leanna Quigley, things like that. Like, for me, those are Scream Queens because they made a career out of horror. Maybe that's not, and I said this last night, maybe that wasn't their initial purpose or intention to do, but they did. They embraced it, and they even if at one point they hated doing it, but they were still doing it, and it was a part of who they were, and they earned the title of Scream Queen. Jamie Lee Curtis is a Scream Queen.
Damn straight.
Not because of Halloween, but she was in 6 Halloween movies.
Mm-hmm.
Was in The Fog. She was in Terror Train. She's in so many things. She counts. It works. She was in Virus. No, but like
she's one of the first Final Girls, man. Like, even her status is that alone. Laurie Strode alone creating that category for us the way it did. That gives her that.
Yeah,
Scream Queen, and that's why I think Jennifer Love Hewitt gets serious consideration, because 2 movies, and that alone during a reboot of a series, of a the slasher series coming back, when we have Scream and we start to get these sort of the teen fun movies, when we get them back and they're gritty enough to actually kind of freaking scare us. I feel like she deserves that. Now, are you saying you're not going to count Buffy and Sarah Michelle Gellar?
No, we talked about this already, but Sarah Michelle Gellar. That is a horror show. That show is based in horror. Ghost Whisperer, Charmed, they have horror elements, but they're not based in horror. Buffy had to fight monsters.
Mm-hmm.
That is a horror show.
Okay.
It's like.
So do you give Christy Swanson the credit then for creating that character?
No.
Okay.
I mean, Christy Swanson was in a few horror movies, but I wouldn't call her a Scream Queen.
Fair.
And just because and now I give her credit for being Buffy.
Yeah.
She did a good job in the Buffy movie, but it's Sarah Michelle Gellar's role. But take Sarah Michelle Gellar, take Buffy away. Sarah Michelle Gellar was also in Scream 2. She was also in I Know What You Did Last Summer.
And
The Grudge, and another Grudge sequel. Like, so that mixed with Buffy makes her a Scream Queen. And even more so, like, not even really a Scream Queen. Like, she's just a badass. But I'm going to give it Scream Queen. Well,
because of, I think The Grudge pushes it over. Because she actually falls victim eventually. And it's, the way it happens, you're struggling with it. And she sold that fear to me. And that's important.
Yeah. And now, so here's where the real argument comes in. So, like, Neve Campbell was in all 5 Screams.
Mm-hmm.
That is a woman who probably didn't have to go past 2. But she did, and she stuck with it, and she loves the series. And just being in all 5 of those movies earns you the title of Scream Queen.
Okay.
In a big way. And it, like in a Jamie Lee Curtis way.
Yeah, agreed.
There's a level of Scream Queens, too.
Well, of course. I mean, there's a hierarchy. Maybe we should create this, like, Scream Empresses.
Ooh, I
And then
like
like
that.
Scream ambassadors, the ones who maybe just gave us a character, but maybe they have a different title or stance in that place. Looks like we've got something to work on, buddy.
I see a Carolina Fear Fest thing coming up. That'll be interesting. That's right. I think we should save this for Carolina Fear Fest.
I like it.
So Scream Queen, I don't think should be given out. Now here's Radar's argument with me, because he thinks that Jennifer Love Hewitt is a Scream Queen.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes, I'm willing to compromise on Hewitt, but Janet Leigh is a Scream Queen. Now here's my argument. I don't think Janet Leigh is a Scream Queen, personally, but I understand why people do. Now, I'm going to make an argument for her being a Scream Queen, and then I'm going to tell you why I don't think she is.
Okay.
My argument for being okay with her being called a Scream Queen is this. She was a well-known actor, but after Psycho, did not do much. She acted, but she wasn't a huge breakout star. Mm-hmm. So she is most notably famous for Psycho. Mm-hmm. And she has, and Radar brought this up when we were having this conversation offline, as in, you remember Psycho because of her. You don't even remember Psycho because of Norman Bates.
Nope.
You remember her in the shower. And I totally agree. And she deserves it. I'll even give her horror icon status just for that.
Well, she deserves it. That's the thing, is it is entrenched and built. It's part of the foundation and upon which modern day horror cinema has grown. You know what I'm saying? That is legitimately part of that cement, part of that building. Yeah. You know, on which we have grown from, and we discuss now movies that are based and built upon that. So she has to be given the affectation, the gratitude, the position of that. But I also understand Scream Queen being a very specific thing, being its own thing, and being muddled by these other things. Yeah. So it becomes a title that's handed out too often. And I think us breaking down exactly what it entails would be pretty good.
I think the argument against Janet Leigh is stronger only because a lot of people argue that she made Psycho and that's what it was. I think that a Scream Queen does two things. Is known for doing horror in their career. Oh, and one of two things, I should say.
Okay.
Is known for doing horror in their career and helping elevate horror as a force that, like, if you're cast, people are going to see this horror movie. Mm-hmm. Which I think Jamie Lee Curtis did.
Agreed.
You know, by those early movies being in them, she elevated them.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not Halloween the first time, but her presence was felt. You know?
So is Janet Leigh more like the Queen Mum? Like the Scream Queen Mum? Was it? Would we put her on that level?
Well, here's what when you say, Jamie Lee is a Scream Queen, it's because you're like, she was in this and 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 this, and that works. When you say Janet Leigh, you're like, she was in Psycho, man. But nobody mentions that she was in Fog. Nobody mentioned she was in Halloween H2O. Nobody mentioned she was in The Manchurian Candidate, which could arguably be considered a horror movie.
Psychological horror, sure.
You know, there's a lot of things that she was in that could be considered horror elements, but nobody mentions. And for me, if you don't remember her in those things, you're not a Scream Queen. Just because you have a famous scene. You can, again, you're on the level of a horror icon. But the other thing that I think a Scream Queen needs to do is, if it's either elevating by being in, it's the Scream Queen has to add the presence that elevates the genre.
Yeah.
Which I also think Jamie Lee Curtis did. And there's not many actors who have done that. And take the men out. Because honestly, horror movies are one of those weird things where, like, you don't always remember men in horror movies. Like, you know the actors that are in it. But we talk about Scream Queens because the domineering force of horror movies are always the killer and the final girl. Mm-hmm. And that's why we have that Scream Queen status.
Like,
and I think
Dee
that
Wallace,
needs to be
man.
earned.
Dee Wallace, bro.
Dee Wallace is 100%.
Come on. 100%. She is absolute embodiment of the Scream Queen. She is fantastic. And she emotes that fear. Someone makes you feel afraid, and yet they overcome it. That's the whole thing. Like, it's why I'm so excited to show my daughter some of these movies, because I'm like, no, you don't understand. Yeah, it's scary and there's a murder and there's all this, but look, you just gotta freaking overcome this terrible situation. Like, take up arms and go get it done.
And to me, I know what you did last summer. I still know what you did last summer. I'll count it for Jennifer Love Hewitt being in that too.
Mm-hmm.
But I know what you did last summer. It was fine. I mean, how much are you really going back to rewatch it?
And well, I mean, yeah, okay.
All right. You're not like you are
fair. Not like Disturbing Behavior.
Yeah, but Disturbing Behavior, I feel like, is a cult classic that movie fans love. But I wouldn't put what's her name, Joey, as a scream queen. What's her name? Tom Cruise's wife, Katie Holmes.
Yeah, no, not anymore.
Well, she was Tom Cruise's wife. I couldn't think of it.
She was, yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't put her as a scream queen because she was in Disturbing Behavior and The Gift.
Yeah, no, fair. I wouldn't either.
You know, so stuff like that, like for me, you got to earn that title. Like Dee Wallace Stone has earned that title over and over again. I'd say even more so than Jamie Lee. Yeah. And Janet Leigh, in my opinion, reaches an icon status because she put forth a movie, scenes in a movie that are truly iconic and stand out, and they were first of their kind.
Yep.
But she doesn't earn a Scream Queen. Now, if there was a Scream Queen, here's the fun part, and it's ironic, I know. If there was a Scream Queen award given every year, she would absolutely be maybe like I would even make like her bust like neck up of like her screaming in the shower on the trophy.
The Janet Leigh Scream Queen Award.
Because absolutely. The scream part of the Scream Queen
is her
all derives from that. And so that way, because I may not personally agree with it, I am perfectly fine with saying Janet Leigh is a Scream Queen. Because I know a lot of people argue for it, and I don't think that they're wrong. I just don't 100% agree with it. And because I'm very contrary and an asshole anyway. But no, but I will not agree to Jennifer Love Hewitt. And if we're giving away this award, it's not going to Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Okay. All right. Fair.
So there you go, Radar. I'm compromising. No, but Janet Leigh, horror icon. That's the way I look at her.
No, I agree with that. I think I would 100% be on board with that. I co-sign most of that. Once again, I do understand, but I do understand Jennifer Love Hewitt being in the conversation. I still think she deserves to be a part of the conversation. I understand you don't want to give her the title, and she'll probably be one of those people who, like, people from the Hall of Fame who always just miss getting voted in. Like every year, there's someone else.
I would never. No, there's so many more. I think her being in contention as a Scream Queen, like so many others, sullies the term Scream Queen for so many before that deserve it. For the Leanna Quigleys, for the Dee Wallace Stones, for the Jamie Lee Curtises, for the Deborah Lambs, for the Brink Stevens, for the ones who truly made their Jordan Ladd, things like that, like people who have horror movies under their belt and they continued with them and they were never at a point where they're like, I'm ashamed of ever doing this.
Right. No, it's the embracing it. It's the understanding what it is and the love you get from, a subset of people, us mutant folk, us weirdos who love it and appreciate it. And it is just wonderful. It's good entertainment, good, wholesome fun.
Like if I'm putting together and I equate it to this. If I'm putting together a team, or not a team, if I'm putting together an award for the best horror movie villains every year, Dexter Morgan's not getting one.
Yeah.
Same to me, that's the same as Jennifer Love Hewitt getting a Scream Queen award.
Okay. You know what? All right. I completely accept that. You know what? That's a good, yep. You just related to me in a way that I can completely agree with you. Yep.
I'll also say Hewitt would definitely be way down on the ballot. Like if we had been giving them out for 20 years.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
no,
If we've been
because there's
going for 20
new.
years, she'd always be like number just off the top 15.
I'll even equate it to football. There's a reason that Phil Simms isn't in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And that's because he didn't win that second Super Bowl. He got them there.
Hostetler.
He got him there.
Jeff Hostetler, baby.
Hostetler won the thing. Now, Hostetler's never getting in the Hall of Fame either.
And he
Because they
took
each have one.
the Raiders there too. Old Haas.
Yeah, but Phil Simms is never getting into the Hall of Fame, and I think that's highway robbery. But that is the way it works. He didn't earn it. But there are plenty of quarterbacks who won 2, 3 more,
Yeah.
And they're getting in.
And there's also, the flip side on the other side of the sports ball is the old, Boston Red Sox Big Papi in his first year of eligibility making it to the Hall. So,
yes. Congratulations to Big Papi. I hate the Red Sox, but I got to give it to him. I got to give it to him.
Pretty amazing, man. Hey, he how many clutch home runs can you have in one season? I don't know. Try it twice.
I love
ridiculous,
this.
Man.
Even Homer Simpson is in the Baseball Hall of Fame, man. You know who's not? Pete Rose. And with that, we're at 2 hours. We're at 2 hours. So I am going to say we should probably take off.
I actually have stuff to do.
Well, I will let you go.
But this has been a delightful 2 hours. Thank you, everyone, for joining. So much fun. A blast as always, my friend. Make sure to like and subscribe. Just smash the heck out of it. And if you're listening to us on any other platform, make sure to give us 5 stars. And if you don't like us, you tell us exactly how you feel in that comment section. So we appreciate you. And as always, be kind to each other and love yourself.
I'm just going to let that go. Casey did fine for me. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. I'm the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan. You can check out the Scene Snobs podcast live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel or all podcast platforms afterwards. Also on our YouTube channel, you can check out great shows like Real Combat, the ultimate debate show for movie lovers, mixed movie picks with new recommendations every week, Geek Fest live every Sunday night, and new movie reviews and news all the time. Like and subscribe, then hit the notification bell so you know when all of our new episodes drop. Thank you so much to all of our amazing Patreon supporters, with whom this would not be possible. They help keep the lights on and support us in such big ways. If you would like to become a supporter on our Patreon and take advantage of all the perks like monthly giveaways, early access, and so much more, head on over to the Scene Snobs Patreon page and just sign up on one of our 2 tiers. Join our awesome community of geeks, movie lovers, and so much more, and join up on our Discord. The Scene Snobs Discord is now live, and you can head over to thescenesnobs.com for links to there and more. The Scene Snobs merch store is now open with original and fun designs that are available on all different types of merch and apparel. Check out thescenesnobsmerch.com. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media accounts like TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and so many more. We have fun updates, topics, we talk about collectibles, and so much more on there. It's a great time. You can find all of our links to everything on thescenesnobs.com or on our link tree, which are down in the descriptions below. Thanks again, everyone. Stay tuned and stay geeky.